morning. My name is Heather Fisher, and I call this meeting for the Fargo Historic Preservation Commission to order for, what's the date today? January 15th, 2019. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes for December 18th, 2018.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from December 18th, 2018.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Great. So the second item on the agenda is the discussion of the CLG grant application project, and I'll probably hand that over to Kathy.
Yeah, so every year, we have to fill out a CLG grant application through the state, and that's to get federal funding for projects. So the first one on your list is an administrative project, which the state requires us to do, and that can be used towards meetings, supplies for this meeting, and then as well as the annual CLG conference that's held throughout the state every year for multiple people to go attend that. And then the second project that's on your list is a 5-year strategic plan. Staff thought that this would be a good idea to work on in order to possibly hire a consultant to come in and create a 5-year plan that would help guide the Historic Preservation Commission as far as certain neighborhoods that might need to have historic overlay districts, as well as certain other projects that we could do every year that the Historic Preservation Commission could pull from. So that's kind of the two projects that we have in front of you right now.
Okay, good morning.
Any discussion or questions, comments?
You don't indicate what the budget would be for hiring a consultant. Do you have any idea what the range might be?
As of right now, we don't. It's something that we'd have to dive into a little deeper. This application isn't due to the state until February 15th, I believe, so it'll give us some time to kind of look at numbers.
The reason I ask is I am predisposed to think we have expertise within staff to facilitate a meeting with the Preservation Commission to derive a strategic plan. I don't know, is there a reason to hire an outside consultant? Or I would think that to hire a consultant we'd need to educate someone about the mission of the Preservation Commission and the work that we've accomplished so far. And it seems like that expertise is already resident on staff. And I think we've all had strategic planning experience in other walks of our career. Is there a reason to hire an outside consultant?
I can answer that. I think there's two different answers to that question. One, when we look at our workload right now with how the current planning department's set up, we're structured to the point where we're getting the daily stuff done every day. So I think it might be pretty hard to be able to fit this in our schedule. And the second part of that question is, we can certainly do that. We can certainly have the expertise to do that. But in the past, when we've put together documents, it seems like an uninterested third party does a better job of creating consensus and collaborating with the different organizations to be able to come to a better solution. Where when we're facilitating that, sometimes the squeakiest wheel sort of gets their way as their concerns go up the ladder and politics gets involved. In this situation, I think it's a really good idea to be able to utilize other funds to be able to have someone come in and identify, what we are as an organization, what we are as an entity, where we want to go, and what we want to do. And I don't anticipate it being a very long process, and I don't anticipate it being a very large document. just kind of something that sort of lays the groundwork for us to be able to follow in the next few years. When some of the boards and commissions that we facilitate do meet, one issue that we've had the past couple of years is, and it's great, people are very inspirational that serve on these, is sometimes it's pretty easy for the entire board to get sidetracked, and to be able to come up with some sort of strategic plan that kind of helps keep us focused. Do we want to do 500 historic overlays in the next 5 years, or do we want to do 2? And this will give us an opportunity to be able to kind of get consensus amongst the group, and be able to push that mission forward. Did that answer your question?
A little bit. And I agree with the idea of an objective third party eliminating any bias or appearance of bias. I just would encourage anybody who you send an RFP to think a strategic plan without annual objectives. Not worth the paper it's written on. Just if you haven't put one together already.
Sure.
Well, I think a 5-year plan, or however long it should be, a strategic plan, I think at this point for the core neighborhoods of Fargo to look at potential historic overlay districts and other issues, I think it's very timely given the increased attention now being paid to the old neighborhoods of Fargo and the need for a range of things, housing rehabilitation and so on, that may exceed the scope of this plan, but I think everything is connected to everything else with respect to the core old neighborhoods of Fargo, and I think everything we can do to further the interests of those neighborhoods, I think is worth doing.
Is the grant application, is it a matching fund? Is it a dollar for dollar match? Is that what we're looking for? There's a match, and then
The match is just how many hours that staff of the commission puts into it. So they put a dollar amount on your time and on staff time as well.
Did you want to maybe describe to some of the commission members just how the CLG actually works? Because the CLG is really ultimately federally funded, right? It trickles down to that level. And do you want to maybe, or I can explain it too, of where these funds are actually coming from, and how we get those, and what is maybe even a CLG?
So every year, the state receives federal funding, and so that federal funding they use, basically they give to every CLG, which is which there's 5 or 6 in the state, I believe.
There's 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Certified local governments. Yeah.
And so every year every CLG has to apply for those funds to use for projects towards historic preservation. So the state can approve or deny any projects that we request, or they can change the funding amount as well based on what they receive from the federal government. So these funds will have to be used between 2019 and 2020.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? Okay. So, hearing none.
Are we being asked to approve
Which is-
this request? What was our action?
Yes, you're being asked to approve the projects.
So we're we're approving creating a 5-year strategic plan with those funds.
I'll move approval of the application as submitted.
For a second?
A second?
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion approved. Looking at the second item, or no, the third item on agenda, looking at the liaison reports. Christine? Anything with the Planning Commission?
I think I will. Darn it.
Okay, thank you. Matthew for the Board of Adjustment?
Board of Adjustments have not met.
House Moving Board has not met.
And the housing rehab has not met. How about the Renaissance Zone?
They have not met.
Okay, easy enough. All right. Any other business you should know about? Pretty easy meeting today. Wonderful. The next meeting is going to be February 19th, 2019. We're dismissed.